Okay, looking through FO4 Edit, it all makes sense now. Nothing Bethesda's done with this weapon system is dynamic. Everything is just leveled list on leveled list on leveled list on leveled list. So if you thought you could simply add a mod that added modifications to a new weapon and you would dynamically see those new weapons on enemies, wrong. What's up guys, this is Zero to Make Kitsune, and I'm here to ask you a question. Was Gearbox right? Now, to that you're asking, what the hell am I talking about? And I mean when it comes to weapon crafting. Now, in the Borderlands series, which is, Gearbox's baby at this point, they never included any form of weapon crafting, despite the fact that all their weapons are composed of separate parts. And the communities constantly asked them for it, and their only concession was a randomized loot generator object inside of a town in the third game. And you fed it existing weapons, and it gave you a random weapon based on what you threw in there. Now, we got our Borderlands crafting system in Fallout 4, effectively, because it really feels like Fallout 4 did pick several pages out of Gearbox's Borderlands series, but just didn't do it to the level of Borderlands, if you get what I'm saying. You have weapons that come in parts instead of just being single objects, and that's really all you needed for the crafting system to make sense. But with that, as I played Fallout, I felt that weapons lost their interest. I stopped picking up weapons and actually looking at them. Instead, I immediately scrapped them just so I could craft the one weapon I already had to its utmost potential. So there's an interesting case to be made that Gearbox has been right all along with their refusal to bow to their community's demands for a weapon crafting system. Now granted, the reasons Fallout's weapon crafting system might be a little bit more pale in comparison to anything Borderlands could do is simply the implementation. Weapons in Fallout are upgrades instead of side grades, so the lower tiered parts just aren't used and you want to get rid of them ASAP. So that could contribute to it. But it could also be that the idea of weapon crafting inside of a game that's primary value is in its loot system, its randomly generated loot system, is flawed from the get-go. Now, with that said, I do believe that anything can be done correctly if you just try hard enough. But I don't know, would Borderlands 3 be able to do it better than Fallout 4 did? Who knows? But it was just on my mind, and I'd like to see y'all comments in, comment section below, whether or not you think Borderlands 3 should have a weapon crafting system, whether or not Fallout 4's weapon crafting system is just fine, or if it's busted, or anything along those lines. It's really been bothering me. But with that said, little short ZTI, I'll see you next time. Later. The parts would have to be added to certain leveled lists, like these particular ones. Handgun, handmade gun, muzzle any, that's for, DLC 4, would have to be added here for its part to show up in the potential rotation. And even then, certain weapons just flat out don't have the random pre-made set in order to even have a chance at being completely random. So the only way you can get an actual Borderlands run in this game would be for some mod developer to find a better way to do this, because even if mod developers start adding their particular modifications to leveled lists, either we're going to need a new ASIS function for ASIS program for Fallout 4 exclusively, which I was hoping that the modding community would never have to do, because console mods are going to suffer on that one. Or someone's going to have to make the equivalent of dynamic enchant, which will then run a script every time an enemy spawns and randomizes his weapon for him.